Once again, empty space right there that needs to be filled with something. The closest thing I have is this new dates added sign, which I think is great comedy, given the fact that I have no new dates. Read my lips, no new dates. So, in my last video, 6 months ago, whoops, by the way, as a joke, I was kind of like, lol, my lung collapsed, isn't that crazy? I'm fine now. It wasn't fine now. I had my second and third spontaneous pneumothorax, which just means like happens for no reason, lung went pop, in March and May, and I had to go to hospital for 2 weeks. I had to undergo major surgery, but it's fine, I won't talk about it. Okay, fine, I'll make a whole video if you insist. But yeah, when I was in hospital, I was trying to search on YouTube like collapsed lung, pneumothorax experiences, and there is just nothing. So I thought I would kind of tell my story in case someone out there is like, oh god, what is going to happen? But at the same time, this is just going to be like, off the top of my head, random stories about what happened while I was in hospital, the crazy people I saw, etc. My first collapsed lung happened back in last September when I was on a run. I speak with that in the last video though, not a bit of promo, me, I would never. But the second and third ones though happened both while I was making a stir fry. Now I'm not saying that noodles are out to get me, but I'm never going near a wok in my life. Ironically, it was my housemate's 21st birthday, the day my third lung collapse happened, and I said to myself, like, I know I should go to hospital, but at the same time, I've made 40 jelly shots, and like, I can't not drink them. So I basically did the whole party, the whole night, on one lung, essentially, because I went into hospital the next morning, and they took an x-ray and they were like, oh yeah, no, that lung is fully collapsed, like not even partially, like it's fully like gone. So here's an x-ray of it, and here's an annotated one where there's like air shown, essentially proving that I did the whole party on one lung. That's how much of a good friend I am, actually. So the doctors and the nurses put like a chest drain in my side, which was basically like a long tube that goes into this like bucket, like a fancy little fun little bucket, it's got like water in it, and the point is that it like sucks the air out and creates like a vacuum, and where like all the air that's outside of my lung goes directly into this bucket, and then over time all the air's gone and it's healed and I'm perfectly fine. So as I waited out, I was just moved into the respiratory ward, which was just filled with old men, because obviously older men have like respiratory stuff going on. And my god, they scream in the night. It was dreadful. It was just loads of like old men who like a lot of them were immobile, they couldn't move, so it's just a lot of like bodily functions in these beds, and it was so difficult. Long story short, I cried to a doctor and she moved me into my own private room. What can I say? Bougie bitch. I'm here for my own VIP living space. I'll do what I have to do. I'll sob to a doctor. But I'm not going to lie to you, it wasn't all luxury. People would walk past the room, and just because I was just in my room alone, they would just ask me so many weird questions. I had this one woman, oh my god, this one woman. She must have really loved me, and to be fair, the way I look in a hospital gown, I can see why. Because basically she kept walking past my room and she just keep like just talking at me. And one time she came to say hello, and she was just like scratching at her chest because she was wearing a hospital gown. She like lifted up the whole gown and just completely flashed me. I was like, hello, yeah, well, how are you doing? But aside from that, I was in that room for like 4 or 5 days and nothing was really getting any better. And it turned out the drain had been put in incorrectly. I was sat there for days with old men doing their business and women flashing me, and my lung wasn't getting any better. I could have bloody stayed at home. Jesus. So they put in a toe pad which like had suction on it. And that also did nothing, so they just had to replace the drain. I listened to Olivia Rodrigo's Good For You because the pop punk energy really helped as I was getting like a drain put in and out of my chest. I should probably clarify that the collapsed lungs, they're just spontaneous. They're literally, the nurses and doctors were like, you're tall and thin and sometimes it just happens. And to be fair, as my x-ray shows, my lungs are like bloody string beans. No one quite knows what it is. They just collapse, and that happens to some people. I'm in a good few Facebook groups where everyone's like, hey, do you guys feel pain 3 years after your surgery? And everyone's like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, it's irregular is basically what I'm saying. It likely won't happen to you. So, you know, stop your worrying. Sarah. Don't know who Sarah is. So after about 10 days of me being sat in this bloody hospital in Brighton, my god, I hated it. I was shipped to Guy's Hospital in London for surgery. Now, if we're going to get technical, my surgery was a left-sided pleurectomy and blebectomy, known as pleurodesis. I think VATS, more commonly known, video assisted thoracic surgery. Basically they stick like a camera and like loads of little like things in my side to basically pull out the lung, like clamp it down or like glue it down and glue it to the side so that it can't collapse anymore, all while I'm completely unconscious, which is great fun. My nurse at Guy's Hospital was called Selena. Bless Selena, we love Selena. And it was really keeping me going, thinking of Nicki Minaj's verse in Beauty and a Beat where she's like, I gotta keep an eye out for Selena. Honestly, I think I may have driven myself crazy by that point, but that was really keeping me going. But yeah, so I went into surgery. And honestly, I was a little bit offended by how like I got punked by the nurse, because she was like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna give you some oxygen so that you like your heart's beating properly." And I was like, "Okay, great, some oxygen." Turns out she was putting me to sleep. Cheeky bugger. Honestly, I was just lying down, and I'm just like, "Oh, I feel a bit woozy." Then before I could realise that I was like being put to sleep, I couldn't do anything. I was being put to sleep, and I woke up like, who the bloody hell? Where's that nurse? And I have a strongly worded email to write for her. But yeah, I woke up and I felt fine, but I was just chatting pure shite to the nurses around me for about an hour because I was in this bed on my own, just lying down. These two nurses making sure I'm okay, and I'm just like, so what did you guys do during lockdown? And then they were like, we worked here, and I was like, of course. It was so bad. I want to apologise to those nurses, but I can't. I feel so bad. But yeah, after that I had loads of painkillers just like given to my bed at any point, like lots of morphine. I still got morphine. I know. I had to take like 4 a day. It was kind of a lot to keep track of, and then by the time I felt like I didn't need them, I just quit them. Honestly, I'm no drug addict. I just abandoned the paracetamol. But I was still on a chest drain, so I still had that in my side. I still had a fancy little bucket to take around me, like a little fashionable handbag, which was an electrical one, a topaz. But yeah, I had a few bullet hole incisions, which kind of hurt, but generally were kind of okay. I am going to show them actually, so if you're a bit squeamish, skip to this time thing. There they are. Damn, look at that. All those little scars. Damn, girl, you got bullet hole incisions. But my favourite story, when I was recovering in bed, I missed Eurovision, unrelated. I was devastated. I was so fuming. But Jedward tweeted that they were in hospital. And I replied like, oh my god, look, I'm in hospital same time as Jedward, lol. And they DM'd me, wishing me well. I got a DM from Jedward, I don't know which one, basically saying like, good luck with the recovery. And I was like, oh, Jedward, bless you. So yeah, I was in hospital on the Thursday, had surgery on the Sunday, came out on the Tuesday. So it was actually quite a quick turnaround compared to the horrible 10 days in Brighton. Chest drain was taken out on the Tuesday, and they literally had me do an x-ray and then shipped me home. I had a lovely chat in the ambulance about dogs for about an hour, and then I fell asleep. So, I mean, it was a tiring 2 weeks. Can you blame me? In terms of recovery, I kind of spent the first week doing as little as like physically possible. So like kind of going to like the shop and that's it, and like getting my housemate to take the bins out and you know, that kind of thing. My housemates, bless them, they were really accommodating. Like we had a party, and whenever I kind of was like walking around too much, they would put me in a timeout for 10 minutes and just force me to sit down. The party was actually toga themed, and so I had taken a few gowns from the hospital as like souvenirs that I could also fashion into togas, and I think I rocked it. I definitely shouldn't have been drinking that quickly after leaving hospital though, because I was in the toilet bowl at midnight and then completely passed out by like past. So maybe don't do that. My surgery was mid-May and it's now mid-July. I made sure I didn't run or walk too far or too quickly for a good few weeks. I didn't swim until about like a month and a bit after the surgery because I didn't want to get the wounds infected. I did play a game of rounders where I had to sprint quite a lot around the whole pitch, but I kind of made sure that when I got a bit shattered, I swapped out with someone else. I was also lying on Brighton Beach a few weeks ago, and there was like a particular stone in my back, and I got up and I was like, oh, that feels weird on the lung side, and I can still feel it now sometimes, so that's probably an issue. But it's been 2 months now since my surgery, and basically I can only ever really feel much pain at like the height of each deep breath. I'm not yet fully ready to go on like runs or to do anything like too strenuous, But I basically feel like I can do everything, every essential thing I can do now, which is nice. Thank you for watching. If you're going through a similar thing and that's how you found this video, I hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be replying all the time. Even if you comment like 2 years in the future, chances are I'll see it and I'll reply. If your lung hasn't collapsed and you're just watching this video because of me, then first of all, check your privilege, take a deep breath, and then be grateful that you can do that, okay? And second of all, I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, just so I can see the number go up and I can feel gratified. I did have to quit my job because of this bloody lung, so if you see an advert, please feel free to watch it. I hope to make more content soon. I'm not going to promise anything. It has been 6 months since my last video. But I hope that I can make more content soon. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye. They also gave me like temporary, like disposable underwear, which was like mesh, and on it, like nothing was hidden. It was like it wasn't there. It was like it was. Why did I even mention this?